Welcome to St. Augustine this evening, the Mike Davis Show, and we are glad you're here with us tonight. We've got some great guests for you. We got a lot of young people in this room, includes everybody but me. So we're going to introduce them all to you in just a minute. But you guys are going to enjoy this. Those of you who thought it's too old of a show, tonight it's a much younger show. So, all right, let's make a little bit of money for the show before I introduce everybody to you. Powell Heating and Air Conditioning, they've been serving St. Augustine for over 40 years. Their dedication to customer service is evident in everything they do. From the moment they answer the call until the time they leave your home, they're working to make sure you're comfortable and confident about the care and service you receive from Powell Heating and Air Conditioning. They got a fleet of over 10 trucks and a 15,000 square foot warehouse that's stocked with parts and equipment. They're ready to serve you around the clock, and they mean around the clock, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. They even cover that thing called leap year. They got the whole thing. Powell Heating and Air Conditioning, 904-794-2665. Great folks, wonderful sponsors. And A to Z Roofing and Waterproofing. They've been serving St. Augustine for over 20 years. They offer painted metal roofs for saltwater area homes with warranties up to 25 years. And they have shingle roofs with warranties up to 50 years. A to Z Roofing and Waterproofing also installs tile roofing, cedar shake shingles, designer roofing, and flat roof coverings. You can go to their website, A to Z Roofing and Waterproofing.com. You can see all kinds of great pictures of stuff that they have done. And you can reach out to Chuck McCone, the owner, a wonderful guy, 904-669-8037, an actual graduate of St. Augustine High School, so local kid. And opening their doors in 2008, Brightway Insurance, the Casey agency, has proudly served their customers through hurricanes, major floods, hail, and fires. Through these events, the agency has become a much-needed insurance resource in times of trouble and hardship. Honesty and integrity are the pillars of their core values, says owner Ashley Casey. They pride themselves on being insurance experts while developing strategies that help their clients meet their needs. They truly enjoy the relationship they've forged here in St. Augustine. So Ashley Casey, Brightway Insurance, give them a call. They insure this show, which tells you just how much risk they are willing to take. It's a lot. It's an awful lot. All right, we have a full studio, so Amanda is in the control room. Amanda, say hello to everybody.
Hello, everybody.
And Amanda, you have a new van?
Yes, I do.
You have and it runs. It's got 4 wheels.
Last time I saw it did.
Last time you saw it did. I just want to make sure it's a functioning van. Okay.
I don't know. Are you pranking me right now? Like, what's happening to my van?
Well, Pete's out there stealing a wheel. He needed one for the 904 now van.
For the Florida Man games?
For the Florida Man games. Yeah, I saw something he did today in the parking lot. I really would love to talk about it, but I didn't ask him if I could. So
Yeah.
you'll have to tune into the morning show. I'll leave a Pete Melfi-esque kind of a nugget there for you. You'll have to tune in the morning show. Text him in the comments, hey, Pete, what did you do in the parking lot at A.D. Davis yesterday?
Nice.
So, yes, it'll be awesome. All right, so we've got some amazing guests. Andrea Williams Armstrong from the technical
St. John
Technical High School, which is different than
First Coast Technical College.
However, you're in a similar building area.
On the property.
On the property. Sharing space and a similar name.
Yes.
Okay. So no Hatfields and McCoys or anything going on. No. Everybody gets along. Everybody's fine.
Gets along.
And how long have you been there?
I've been there. This is my 5th school year.
Okay. So you graduated from high school, college, went right there. Okay. Got it. So I told you we had a lot of young people in here today. So we have tons of young people. And you brought with you one of your board members, right?
Yes.
And Dave?
Yes.
You're Flagler College Chair, Hospitality Tourism Management.
Yes, that is correct.
And we want to get this out right now. It had nothing to do with Nights of Lights this year. Not a thing.
Nothing to do with setting up Nights of Lights. We just help provide students, which help facilitate the delivery of service to tourists during the Nights of Lights.
Can you teach them to drive? Can we do driving classes before they get in it?
For tourists?
Yes, please. Can we do driving classes?
That's tough. It's funny talking about that because somebody asked me, I'm originally from New York.
Yes.
Where are the worst drivers, New York or Florida?
Mm-hmm.
And I said it depends because most of the people that are driving around Florida are actually New York transplants. And it seems like it's just the bad drivers from New York coming down to Florida.
and I have to say this. One day I was going somewhere and I just put it into Waze or into maps and just to get where. It gave me the worst directions to get through St. Augustine. And some of it is honestly probably not their problem. It's the apps that tell you to get in the wrong lane and then tell you to cross over a lane in the middle of an intersection. It's like, yeah, now I kind of understand why this.
And tell you to make that left turn on a one-way street that you're not supposed
Mm-hmm.
to
Yes.
make. It. I see it do that quite a bit because my office is in Markland.
Uh-huh.
There's that one-way street right there. And the number of times I actually see somebody who makes a left turn and is
Yes.
coming down, heading towards King, I make a right turn, and we are nose to nose. So that's where I'm glad I have a truck because they usually back up
Yes.
and get out of the way. So
Well, and you got a little bit of construction going on behind you right now, too.
yes, we
so,
do. Yeah, some chiller plants and
Some
stuff.
chiller plants. I'm familiar with the chiller plant stuff. Sorry about all of that, but it will get better. It will
will.
get better. And you brought 2 students with you, right?
Yes.
Jonathan,
Very nice.
it's nice to meet you. And you're with the Culinary Institute, right?
Yes, sir, I am.
And how long have you been doing that?
I've been doing it for the last 2 years
Mhm.
now. I'm currently one of the ambassadors for it. So I'm like one of the top dogs there. You know, got to get me some good stuff, you know.
Yeah.
So how did you get involved in cooking? At what age did you say, I like this?
I would say at a younger age, I was watching my mom cook one day. And I'm like, you know, this looks kind of interesting. I kind of want to do this.
Mm-hmm.
So then I tried to make some mac and cheese and almost burnt down the house.
Ooh.
You know, every story starts somewhere.
Every
Um,
fire call does too.
Every 911 call. has a
Every
place.
911 call has a mac and cheese box somewhere involved in it. No. So what was the first thing that you cooked that you're like, wow, I'm really good at this?
Ironically, it was hot dogs. I made it on the stove, and I thought I was the best person ever for
Yeah.
cooking. I thought I was the Ryan Reynolds of cooking. So you know.
Well, as long as you weren't the Deadpool of cooking, right? Because I'm not sure that would have been good. So what have you learned since you've been in the program?
I've learned like all the basics and you know how not to burn food and season food. You know
Yep.
some important stuff.
Yeah.
I've learned all about restaurant safety and all of that good stuff. So now I can work in a restaurant without accidentally burning down the kitchen or poisoning someone.
What's your favorite dish to cook?
Currently, I would have to say probably a good steak with some homemade mac and cheese. You know, not boxed.
Not the no box.
No boxes.
They cause fires.
They call
No,
it
just kidding.
every day. New fire.
No, but that's awesome because that's what I'm cooking tonight. I'm going home and I'm throwing a steak on the grill tonight. So yes. Just
So what
real-
time are we going?
You guys are
What time
welcome.
we
Come on
invite you
over.
guys?
Come on over. I may even, if I'm really brave, I'm going to light the fire pit up and sit outside. So I just don't know if I can do it. I've walked outside a little bit today and it's
Chilly. A
cold.
little chilly.
It's cold. All right, Liddell, you're with us. You're also in the academies, but you're in the agricultural academy.
Yes, sir.
So how did you get involved in agriculture?
Just kind of, it's just off. He said, they gave us a little pantry. He said they had all culinary, all culture. You can do all of these. I said, I want to go fishing. All culture said, oh, we'll take you fishing. That's really how it got me into it. But then when I joined, it's just so a lot of other things like the cultivating fish, like what's it called? You could help the environment by doing aquaculture. Like there's so many endangered fish, and aquaculture really helps it. And so,
Overfishing.
Yeah, overfishing, pollution, yeah.
So a lot of farms are on land now.
So are you more towards the aquaculture or the agricultural side? Which one do you like the best?
aquaculture,
Aquaculture. Okay. You got a favorite fish?
tilapia,
Tilapia.
catfish.
Okay. Catfish. So what's the biggest catfish you caught?
I don't know. I haven't caught catfish
Yeah.
recently. Maybe like a good 5 pounds.
So you're not one of those like Instagram people that goes out in Alabama and sticks their hand in the water and comes out with the catfish that's
No.
okay. Yeah, I don't want to do that either. I'm just so afraid I won't come back with the hand, right?
Yeah.
The catfish to me. I don't know how those people do that. I watch that and I'm like, no. How'd you learn that? What parent taught you to do this? I'm so glad my parents didn't go, oh, this is a good idea for you to learn.
Yeah.
No. So how long have you been in the program?
I've been in the program for 3 years now.
3 years. And what's favorite kind of aspect about it?
The fish.
The fish?
Yes, just love the fish. Then it's like, what's it called? Little help me as Armstrong.
What you talking about?
Like this the aspect of the fish and the cold.
The greenhouse, we have
Yeah.
a big aquaponics system
Mhm.
out in the greenhouse.
Yep.
And so Liddell and his classmates, they actually built the greenhouse up, from ground up. We had a donation, and so then they built like a DIY aquaponics system,
Mhm.
and so they've got some tilapia in there. They're growing some produce in the grow beds. Last year, we harvested our first batch of tilapia, which is a really good project between the two academies. So culinary was involved, and aquaculture grew the fish. And then I didn't want to know what day that they would be walking down like the Green Mile. They were going to start playing the tunes, carrying the fish on down to the culinary classroom.
Yeah.
So I handed them the camera, and I'm like, y'all take photos. This is our first one, but I don't want to see them getting butchered. But it was neat because a lot of the kids had not had any experience with filleting of fish. It was their 1st
Mhm.
time. And so you were part of that, weren't you, Liddell?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So went down there. They all learned how to fillet fish, and then they put it in the grease, cooked them on up, tasted them. It was
Hot
really
sauce
neat.
on them.
Put some hot sauce on
Yeah.
them.
They were so good,
Yeah.
dude.
So how did that? Where are you at in like growing in the fish now? And how do they do in the cold weather? We had a pretty cold night last night. How do the fish respond to that?
Most of them just stay. We put a little heater in the tank so they keep them warm during the colder months of the year.
Okay. And did you help cook the fish?
Yeah, I was actually one of the people that got to fillet the fish. I thought it was fun. We had cut off the fish's head.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's important not to serve that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really important.
I mean, it is. I actually prefer my fish. I like my fish head. You deep fry it and then you eat the eyes and everything.
Oh, God.
It's delicious.
And actually, being in the hospitality and tourism business,
Yeah.
a lot of restaurants, a lot of people want to get it. And I was recently in New York. And
Yep.
one of the restaurants we were at, 54 Below, it's a cabaret house. Then we went to another place, and when they have fresh fish
Mhm.
or the fish of the day, sometimes they'll give you a warning and go, just let you know it's a whole fish and it's going to be everything from tip to tail. Right? And it's just going to come out, it's going to be the whole fish. So some
Well, they
people
do the
enjoy
whole
it that way.
hog.
Yeah.
They
yeah,
do the
some
whole
people enjoy it
hog,
that
so
way.
they do the whole fish.
I was in Puerto Rico last year on a trip, and somebody ordered they thought it was just the fish, right? The fillet, and they were cooking it and they were cooking it. I mean, we actually were like joking, did they go out and catch it? Because it took like an hour, and all of a sudden it shows. And I swear the fish is this big, and we're all like, "Okay, we'll come back and get you after breakfast because you're just gonna have to be eating this for a while." It was a huge. It's like now I know why it took so long to cook that fish. So yeah. You said hot sauce. What's your favorite hot sauce?
Louisiana.
Louisiana.
Yeah.
Now, and are you partial to any of the daddle sauces, the local daddle sauces? Have you tried any of those?
Not yet.
All right, you got to try those. I'm just saying you got to try. There's such a history with that. The Menorcans that were in New Smyrna, horribly mistreated by the farmer Turnbull down there, and they said they invented the daddle pepper sauce to put on the food because the food was so bad. If it didn't have sauce on it, you couldn't eat it. So that's where that's one of the stories behind daddle pepper sauce. And when the Menorcans came up to St. Augustine, they brought that with them. So it's been part of St. Augustine culture for a long time. But I'd say really try that one time. Not as hot as Louisiana, but it's still got a little bit of fire to it. It's got a little sweet taste to it too as well. So yeah, you look at me like you're gonna like cook something with daddle sauce this afternoon. I'll tell you that. So we talked steaks earlier. So I'll go. The Chop Shop has beef tips, and occasionally they'll soak them in daddle sauce. And one day they didn't, and I said, "Hey, when are you doing the daddles again? Well, just buy the Menorcan Mike's daddle sauce. Plug for Menorcan Mike's daddle sauce because they're really cool people. And just soak them in there, and it takes like 5 minutes to cook these beef. They're just phenomenal. They're absolutely just such a great flavor to them. So you can make an A in that in class. You're gonna say, came up with that all by yourself.
All by myself.
I came up with this. No one's ever done this before.
No one's ever said it. Trust me.
No one ever. So what part? I mean, so you're learning things as you go. Do you still do regular school classes while you're going?
Yeah, I still have the 7 class a day schedule. It's just 2 of the periods are just taken up by culinary and culinary alone.
A lot more fun than the other classes.
Yes. Had to think for a second, Yeah, I would say so.
Liddell, what about you? Is it more enjoyable to be in something that you enjoy, the aquaculture, rather than being in a class? In a classroom?
I just love going to my aquaculture class because it's we do schoolwork most of the time, but there's like instead of like everyday schoolwork, we have a couple of days where we go outside in the greenhouse, work with our hands, and just have fun. A really good time.
And then you're part of Future Farmers of America.
Yes, sir.
So how long have you been involved with that group? And it's a great group too, by the way.
I think 32 years.
And you guys do the conferences and things like that. Have you gone to those? Have you learned stuff from other kids?
Yes, sir. I went to a conference like a year ago. It was down in Orlando,
Mm-hmm.
and we learned about the ways we can make our community better. So the idea I brought up is that let's remove the trash, like help pick up trash on the side of the road to clean up the community. Basically, that's what I learned from it.
No, it's a bit. I mean, we talk about that all the time, and your first impression of something is a lasting one. So if you drive into somewhere and there's trash everywhere, do people not really care about this community? And if you see it as clean, you go, okay, people really care about where they live, and it makes a huge difference. So yeah, spot on. I had a client one time, and big client. I will not name the client, but I told him, I said, we do a lot of work inside your building, but you have this big parking lot out front and nobody cleans the parking lot. And so people leave trash overnight, and the first people that roll in at 7:00 in the morning see all this trash that somebody has left from the night before. And, it's not my job. But I would clean that because the first impression is, oh, there's trash in here. What's the rest of the facility like? And you don't want that. So yeah, I think it's a huge, that's why we use clean plates, right? We don't serve food on dirty plates.
Exactly.
See, because the presentation is important.
Mm-hmm.
So, speaking of kind of presentation things, when you go to serve certain meals, have they shown you how to do all the kind of the fancy things that make it look
Oh,
more
the fancy
attractive?
plating stuff?
Yes.
Yeah, we've learned quite a little bit about that. We've learned how to plate food to make it look appetizing,
Mm-hmm.
even though sometimes it's not.
Well, why? So you brought this up. So what food is not appetizing to you that you got to cook?
We've had to make a lot of why am I blanking? It's what's the green stuff that you put in the pot and you put like pork with it?
Grit.
Are you talking about collards?
Yeah, we've had to make collard greens. I'm not a big fan of collard greens.
Collard greens are so good.
I'm just not a big fan of them. I'm not a big fan of them.
They're really, really good. It took me a long time to get used to them. You got to cook them just right. But yeah, the collard greens are good.
Didn't
They
Chef
just
have
get
y'all
the-
do some chitlins or something last year?
Chef Coleman?
Yes.
Yeah, she
Go
wanted them
ahead.
to experience that.
It was actually pretty good the way that we had made them. They were
Mm.
pretty good.
Mm. Okay.
So, yeah,
Not for me.
there's certain foods that I'm with you, right? There's just I'm can be a picky eater, and I was at a gym, and I was trying watching one of my younger brothers play basketball, and it was actually in high school. I walked up to the gym to get something, and on the counter is just this pickled pig's feet.
Mm.
And I was like, I don't want to see someone eating one of those in the gym. I don't want to eat one of those in the gym. I definitely don't want to eat one before I'm supposed to play basketball tonight. I just looked up and I went, no, please, no.
Hey, you never know. It might be delicious.
Yeah.
It might be, but it wasn't. I was never going to find out. Never, ever going to find out. I was just going to be deprived of that my whole life. So, Dave, how did you end up at Flagler College?
So I was serving as a department chair for Livingstone College, which was a HBCU in North Carolina, just outside of the Charlotte area in Salisbury. So I was actually a consulting chair for them. And then somebody let me know that Flagler College was actually looking for a full-time director. And I was really interested because I wanted to be associated with a program that was actually in a tourism area. So having, and I have to admit, I've passed through St. Augustine before, but it was usually, I have 4 children, married, to take my kids to the House of Mouse, right? So we were on our way to Orlando, and we would see this sign for St. Augustine a couple of times. We'd get off and pass through. So the idea of actually being at Flagler College and coming to St. Augustine, knowing it's a historical tourism place, was very appealing to me, to be a part of a program that actually could turn the community into a living laboratory for the students in class so they could have hands-on experiential learning opportunities.
Yeah, and I think that your hospitality tourism is probably one of the programs within Flagler that has had the potential to grow the most since Flagler started. I mean, we had tourism and we had hospitality here, but we didn't have nice hotels. We had some good food here in St. Augustine, but not the variety of the food and restaurants that we have today. I I mean, I look at all the opportunity that's out there and places to go. And so are those local businesses welcoming the students? You get pretty good placement and programs with
Actually, we have great placement, and a lot of times we actually find that we're at a deficit for what we have to offer for the local community.
Yeah.
It's grown so much so quickly over the last 6 years. I got here in 2019.
You made it right under the deadline.
So, and here's what's wild. I can't imagine somebody who's been here for a long period of time. I got here in 2019 and already have seen it go through 2 phases of growth or evolution in the area, right? So I got here, then you had COVID, then we had the reopening of the local area and just saw this big boom of influx of people. Then a few years after that, we then saw the businesses start to follow and how we can just kind of continue to grow. So sometimes we just don't have enough students to serve the need that's out there. Our program is growing, although Flagler is one of the type of institutions that is focused on a small teacher to student ratio, right? So we like to have about 15 students per class. And as a result of that, our programs tend to be a little bit smaller. But we are one of the programs that is targeted for major growth. We have about 75 students in our program now, and they're hoping we can get up to that 150 number. But even getting to that 150 student number, I predict we'll still be at a deficit with the way that St. Augustine and hospitality and tourism is growing.
Yeah, and I think you hit on something that was important to me when I was these guys' age, way back 200 years ago. And and that's I was a journalism major. I went to Florida Southern College because if I'd gone to FSU or Florida, I would have had to have the highest grades in my class to be able to one day volunteer to write at the local paper. Florida Southern, second week in journalism classes, my sophomore year, they're coming in both the Tampa Tribune and the Lakeland Ledger because they're big papers. Florida Southern was a small school, and they're like, hey, we'll pay you to write starting tomorrow. So I was covering high school sports stories, and it was just such a great opportunity to be able to see, well, do I want to do this? And it was huge for me to be able to go, okay, yeah, I like this, but I'm never going to be able to pay the bills with this.
No.
So it was that's why I ended up in construction. But I mean, it was an awesome opportunity to be able to do that. And I think that's one of the things that we kind of miss today is we teach kids a lot of stuff, but we don't give them the opportunity to actually go physically do it with their hands until they graduate. And I think both of these programs are wonderful for that because you guys are getting to do stuff and try things that if you didn't have the technical school, you'd go to school, they tell you all about it. You do a couple of things. You might bring a meal from home, but then they're going to kind of get thrown out into the world where you guys are, when you get let go, you have a lot of experience, which makes you a more valuable asset to whoever wants to hire you. So I think this is great. I think it's absolutely awesome.
That's why it's so important for us to have people like Dave on our advisory boards. So each academy has their own advisory board of industry people, and we try to find a variety of different, career pathways within that specific area. But, folks like Dave, when they come to the meetings, the purpose is to help us, keep abreast of what's going on in the industry. So he's advising us, okay, your kids need to be focusing on this area. You might need to tweak this a little bit, but also providing those internship opportunities, resources, connections, for the academies to just keep them robust and up to date. Yep. So all the high schools in St. Johns County have career academies. There's 9 high schools, and we're one of the 9. But that is so important for them they're learning their skills in the classroom. They're learning those very important workplace, work ethic that a lot of the young people or the employers are seeing that that's something that we really need to focus on to get them ready. I can teach them how to do the skill. I can't teach them to have good work ethic, put that phone down, be responsible, follow through, all those things that you want in a good employee. And these kids get to practice it through the academies and through partnerships with our industry people, giving them that opportunity. They do job shadows, internship in the summertime. They're hired by these people. It's just a great part of what the career academies are.
Yeah. Can I piggyback on that for a second?
Yes, please.
I think another important thing that the advisory boards do is local individuals working with students, and hopefully we get to show them that they could have viable careers in St. Augustine, and we can stop exporting some of our best talent to other cities. And that's been one of my focus at Flagler. That's one of the reasons I was so enthusiastic about getting on the board is who knows St. Augustine better than individuals who grew up in St. Augustine? A lot of these students can offer an insight to help grow not just their businesses, but to help add to the community because they've been a part of it so long and can give it a different lens in how they look at it. And I think that's an important part of what we also do as an advisory board at these schools.
Well, and I think you touched on something that I've said for years that is key to what Flagler College has brought to St. Augustine. And that's if you look at how many Flagler grads are in the community and involved in the community. So there were a lot of people that I grew up with that went off to college and then found a job somewhere else across the country and never came back. And so I refer to that as the local brain drain, right? Where people left. And then as more and more kids went to college, more and more people were leaving and not coming back. Flagler replaced a lot of that, brought a lot of really bright, intelligent, energetic, hardworking people to the community that run all these different businesses now. And without them coming into the community, St. Augustine would have missed out on that. So I think Flagler's I think it's very critical to the growth and where St. Augustine is today because it's brought a lot of really smart people in that fell in love with St. Augustine when they got here. Yeah. So I'm not leaving. The other you guys touched on is work ethic. And I'll tell y'all, Liddell and Jonathan, one of the biggest things, if you work hard, your bosses will overlook stuff, right? If you show up on time and you're there all the time, they will go, you know what? As long as this person is coachable, I can do this. You can be the most talented person, but not show up. Nobody wants to work with you because you're never there. They never know if you're going to be there or not be there. And so if you do that, if you make that commitment, you'll rise so much faster within whatever profession you choose and just say, I'm going to go every day. The days that I don't want to show up, I'm going because that's what employers are looking for is somebody that says, I'm going to make a commitment and I'm going to be there. And if it's a good employer, they're going to take care of you. Right there, and not all employers are good employers. There are some that you'll work for. You go, yeah. I learned a lot of things not to do. I learned a lot, but there's some that are just absolutely phenomenal. And if you just give them, you say, hey, I'm going to give my time and my attention to that. You guys can go wherever you want to go, as quick as you want to go too. Because right now, I don't know a single employer that has all the people they want. They're they're desperately looking for people that want to work. And if you fill that slot, they're going to take care of you. So that means, the days that you're like, I don't want to get up there. That's the day you got to go to work. And not just go, but go with a good attitude. And then you'll win over your coworkers, you'll win over your owner, your bosses, all of them. It'll be awesome. So, you guys have something Thursday night.
We do.
What's Thursday night?
It's Academy Night and open house.
Mm-hmm.
And so we invite the public to come check out our school. It is from 5:30 to 6:30 at St. John's Technical High School, which is on the campus of First Coast Technical College. And we, our population of students is 8th grade through 12th grade. And so anybody in St. Johns County want to come check out the school, see if it's an option for your child. You can enroll anytime throughout the school year. There is an application process. And so you get that application in. We have a team that reviews them, make sure that we're a right fit for your student, for your child. And then they just can, start a school. It can be any grade level. So a lot of the students who come to our school, or a good portion of them, because there may be like a grade or two behind as far as they're not on track to graduate. And so because of the small environment, we only have 200 kids. And so it's a family feel, and we really get to know the kids, and we really get to know, where are the areas that we need to support them more so that they are successful and they do walk across that stage. And they have at least a vision of what they want to do next. That is, that's our goal. And then some students come there just because they want the smaller class environment. So, David, you're talking about, Flagler College being so small. Class size is around 15. We're about the same as well, 10 to 15. Just lost my train of thought.
That's all right. It happens. It's Monday, and then you didn't have to be in work today. Because
I know we threw you into work. You started work late. We started at 5 o'clock instead of 7 this morning. So
right. No, but I think St. John's Technical High School, it's a hidden gem. A lot of people think that we're part of the college, and we're not part of the college. We do partner with the college. Our kids can go over and do dual enrollment in their trades programs. So at our school, we've got aquaculture, which is aquatic farming, and then we've got the culinary arts. But then if they would like to pursue any of the trade programs that are next door, that's an application process with the college, and if they get accepted, they can walk right on over there and do one of the trades there. Jonathan, he just submitted his application because he's done 2 years now with our culinary program. And then after that, we encourage the kids to apply and go to the adult level program next door. And so he's just gotten his application in, and he'll be taking Serve Safe Manager exam, which is a 5-year certification. And if when he passes that,
You really went on the if there.
no,
It's
When
just a
you
challenge.
pass.
It's just a challenge. That's all that is a challenge.
I don't hear the confidence in her voice.
No,
so,
no,
you know.
that's not her job. That's your job. You got to be the one that's confident.
Yeah, we go.
I'm
You got
gonna
that.
pass.
Yeah, there
You're
you
gonna
go.
pass.
There you go.
You're gonna get into.
You mentioned Dining with Dignity. So what have you done with Dining with Dignity?
That's where we go down into downtown St. Augustine and we go out and feed the homeless.
Mhm.
I think the last time we went, we fed about like 88 people. Would you say?
Yeah.
It's what it is. It's good to try to experience that because you get a feel of like what's it like to serve big groups of people in a service standpoint.
Mhm.
And because we have to cook all the food at the school, then we have to make sure it's all hot by the time we get there, and we got to serve it at a specific time. So it really just gives you that mindset of you have to do everything at a certain time to make sure it gets out right.
And the reason I ask that is that's part of Home Again St. John's programs,
Yes.
right? And I'm on the board at Home Again St. John's. So I just want to thank you and the school for going and doing that. I'm assuming you're serving one night a month, and that's just absolutely awesome that you guys do that. Really, really appreciate that. So thank you very much. And you're right. We usually serve about 80 to 100 people a night. And so that's awesome that you're involved in it. So thank you very much. You're
Yes.
helping a lot of people.
It's no problem. I mean, I love doing it. It makes me always feel great about myself when I do it. And it's super fun to do because you get all that experience just being there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it really, and I think it shows you too. When you work in the food, you're working for people, you're getting paid for the food that you serve. But in this case, it's more that you're helping people, and that you're helping people that desperately need to be able to eat and have food. And so, thank you for doing that. That is awesome. What's next in the aquaculture world? What do you got coming up?
We currently have, as I was going to say, we have the Academy Night next Thursday.
Mhm.
Yep, this
This
Thursday
Thursday?
coming
This
up.
Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
And then, is this the Academy Night?
What y'all doing in class?
Oh, we're currently, some of the students, me and a few others are currently, we're gonna be teaching tech talks about aquaculture and but we're gonna be teaching them about alligators and stuff, and trying to.
They mentor. So at the college next door, they have early childhood education program.
Yep.
And so we thought it'd be really cool to partner with them. And we wanted, because of the FFA and they're so huge on leadership and mentoring, that we thought it'd be really neat to have students go over. So both culinary and aquaculture do it once a month, where they are planning out the lesson, our students are, and then they go over in a group of about 4. And they do a rotation of 4 little mini workshops for the little guys. So Liddell, they've got one coming up. I think this Wednesday coming up. Aquatic species is going to be the focus for this week. You guys go over and teach the little ones.
When's the next harvest?
Next harvest.
When do you get to eat fish again? When are we eating fish again?
You want to make sure you're there for that, right?
I might be.
We're working on that right now. We're trying to get the greenhouse right now set up so we can put the fish in there. So I'll give it like a good 5, not 5 months, but like 4 or 3 months till we get like a good production going.
Good.
Of fish.
So our system in the greenhouse has been a little thorn in the side for the past couple of years. So like I said, it's a DIY. It's a backyard system using the IBC totes and your PVC plumbing. And I have to say, well, maybe you can say, how's your plumbing skills from day one and up to
Got
this
a lot
point?
better.
A lot
A
better.
lot better.
If they haven't learned anything, they have learned how to plumb, and they've learned like flow rate of water. So right now that system does not have any fish in it, so we don't have to worry about them freezing. But even though the system is not where we want it to be, it has been a great opportunity for them the teamwork, tenacity, the plumbing, like I said, the flow rate, like it's been a nemesis, but on the flip side, it's been a great project for the kids. So we're hoping that we can get a commercial grade system at some point out there. They do have a smaller system in the classroom, and that's where those first fish came from that we harvested. And there's some fingerlings in there now. I don't know if they'll be ready by the end of the school year, so we might have to catch up with
And
them in the
we
fall.
still got the lone survivor of the
The
last
lone
one.
survivor.
Lone
That's the
survivor.
mascot now.
Yeah.
Y'all cannot eat her.
Yeah,
That sounds like a challenge.
she survived the first one. And
Right,
we
you
couldn't
can't
find
eat
her.
She's gonna hide again.
Yeah.
She's gonna hide.
So you emptied what you thought was all the fish out, and then you came back the next day and there was one fish looking at it. It's like,
Yeah.
gotcha.
Me and my friend, it's one of the other teachers. The teachers were. I walked in the class and said, "Can you help us get the fish out?" Because one of them, the other teacher I was helping, he got bit by the fish. He didn't want to do it no more. So they called me and my friend Josiah to come get the fish. Me and him were carefully searching, had our hands all in the fish tank. We got every fish. We thought we got every fish. And then the one albino fish that we missed popped up the next day. Y'all forgot one. And that was the same day we sent the other fish to culinary. They cooked them up, which was very good. Thank you, Winko.
You're welcome. They were delicious.
Yeah. And then really, that we just started calling them the lone survivor, and they've been with us ever since. It's gotten big, getting bigger and bigger every
So how big were the fish when you harvested them?
like this big. About
They're
a little-
pretty big.
yeah, they're pretty big.
Fat. They're fat suckers.
Yeah.
Was that the first time you filleted a fish?
Yes, sir.
Was it cool?
Yes. Yes. I was getting screamed by Wingo because I cut the fish wrong.
Dude, he cut it so bad. He cut the guts open, so everything was spilling out onto the fish.
No, that was Payne. Payne did that. I cut the head by accident.
How do you accidentally cut the head?
Because that's what you told me to do. Cut the head.
No, you gotta ride alongside the fish.
I didn't know that.
That's what I told you to do.
That's what I tried to.
You know, next time you have a plumbing problem, you should bring him out there.
Yeah.
And then just find his worst plumbing problem and just see how he does. That's how you pay that back. You look, but come on, I could use some help with some plumbing.
Oh yeah, I got one for you, Wingo. I got a good one. Just try to help us connect the sump to we got a little problem going with like the fish tanks, and help us make it like a little bell siphon for the fish tank.
You lost me at fish tank.
Look, you guys have been a ton of fun. So come back, see us next year. Let us know how things are going. Let us know if you've got another Career Academy night. We'd love to have you guys on again.
Yes.
And Appreciate everything you're doing. Liddell, Jonathan, good luck. Enjoy. Dave said to enjoy while you can because it goes by really quick. So it will go by really quick, right? You're going to blink and it's going to be the end of this year. So.
They're gonna blink and they're gonna look like us.
Oh
Yeah.
no!
I hope you look a lot better. Dave looks pretty good. But
I'm
don't end up like Dave.
I'm sorry.
No. You guys are going to do awesome. Dave, thanks for doing everything that you're doing.
Thank you
Glad
for
that
the
you're at
invite.
Flagler College. It's a wonderful institution. It's a great thing. And I'm glad that you're here helping. And I think you're spot on about not having enough people in this industry. And there's a lot of colleges that are in bigger towns or bigger colleges and smaller towns. I think of Auburn. I have a nephew who's involved in hospitality out there.
Man, that's an amazing facility there. I know the department chair there. They just the $40 million beverage and food.
Yeah.
I mean, it's unbelievable. What
Yes.
they have there.
But it's a really cool. And
I just want to make sure like families know that we serve students from all over the school district,
Mhm.
and so we do provide transportation as well. So that's one big benefit for
Okay.
students wanting to come to our school.
And what time tomorrow night again?
So it's Thursday,
Thursday night. I'm sorry, Thursday.
Thursday night, 5:30 to
Mhm.
6:30. Thursday night, these guys will be there, so you can meet them in person and get to have
Yeah.
some conversation. There'll be other students there.
You guys
and
signing autographs? So people show up and they want autographs?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
We sign autographs, everything.
I'll try my best.
fundraiser.
All right. Well, thank you guys very much.
Thanks for having me.
And if you guys want, you head on out. There's a green button on the door to the left that you got to hit to get out. But you guys are great, and we'll have you guys back.
Thank
Come
you.
back
Thank
and let
you
us know
very
what's
much.
going on. Let us know if you got something that's a fundraiser. If you send us something, we'll announce it and we'll try to get it out there to the community. So,
Nice.
all right.
Thank you.
Thank
Hey.
you guys very much.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.
All right. And Amanda, you're going to transition in here, which should be really fun to watch you move and get everything set up in like 30 seconds. Go, Amanda. Go. Run.
Run. Do some reads or something. something.
Run them in. I will do a read. I have the perfect read for this. I have the perfect read. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Thank you. All right, for over 50 years, Epic has been a beacon of hope for our community, providing compassionate care for those touched by substance use or mental health disorders. Whether you're a kid, teen, adult, couple, family, Epic is here to lend a hand. With a range of programs tailored to meet diverse needs, Epic offers accessible solutions for everyone, from our walk-in access center to our mobile response team. From our inpatient detoxification to outpatient counseling, Epic provides comprehensive care every step of the way. Our services include psychiatric evaluations, medication management, medication-assisted treatment, care coordination, peer support, suicide prevention training, parenting education, and much, much more. Give Epic a call. They are glad to help you, and they can help you with all these great things.
Mhm.
Wake up.
Hi, I'm here. I didn't even put my name up because I didn't think I was coming in today.
No, you're in today. You're always in. You're here. You should always put the name up. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm good. They're great kids.
They were
Won-
great kids.
wonderful
That was a great
kids.
conversation.
Yeah, I thought that was absolutely awesome to have them
It's
in.
such a cool program.
Well, and you can tell they're really enjoying doing what they're doing. And I think that's part of where school has to adapt today.
Yeah.
We have to engage kids and get them doing the things that they want to do as
Yeah.
opposed to sitting in a classroom and being bored to death.
Yeah.
Because when we were bored to death as kids, you went home and you were bored to death,
Yes.
right? Now we're competing with a phone.
Mm-hmm.
We're competing with the smallest attention span,
Mm-hmm.
right? You're trying to do an hour-long class.
Smaller
as a
than
teacher.
their mascot fish.
Yes. And people have like less than a 2-minute attention span.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I watched Kat Temp over the weekend on Gutfeld, and she said, "You want me to watch a movie? I'm not even going to commit to a 2-minute reel. If it's
Ugh.
2 minutes, I got to decide if I really want to spend 2 minutes. And you want me to sit for 2 hours to watch a movie? So movies are dead to me. I can't. I don't have that attention span anymore.
So Louis and I have different movie watching styles. He'll just randomly put stuff on and start it. And if he's not captivated by it in the first 10, 15 minutes, then he
Yes.
bails on it.
Uh-huh.
I have a real problem not finishing things. So that means that I just won't start it because, like, if it's a 2.5 hour movie, if it stinks, I'm watching all the way to the bitter end.
There's a way to do that.
Ugh.
There's the Mike Davis movie watching way.
Google it.
You just fast forward it. You just fast forward through the scenes, and you're like, nope, that one's not a good one. Nope, that's not a good one.
I have a real
No.
problem with that. It's hard.
I don't. Because it's like, look, that's 2.5 hours. If you're not good, if it's like the women and I feel like just nagging, I'm going to fast forward through that thing.
You missed the whole point of the movie.
No, I don't think I did.
And
As
it's
a
for your
man,
job.
I disagree.
And it's for your job.
As a man, I did my job. I watched
No,
as
you
much
didn't.
of the women as I could take.
You couldn't talk about the movie because you didn't finish it.
I thought it was horrible. That
Yeah,
was
because you
horrible.
didn't get to the end.
I think I actually like that less than It's a Beautiful Big Whatever Life. That it's
I don't think so.
Ah,
You really
Ah.
hated Life is Beautiful. You
Yeah.
really hated that.
Gone in 60 Seconds was another one that was like, is this car ever going to run out of gas? Is this car ever going to run out of gas?
Never.
Is this car ever?
Hollywood, baby. They have the same gas tanks as they have chambers in their guns.
Davey Hartzell is still upset.
I know. It's so annoying.
That's right. Okay. Today's a big day for our country.
Yes.
And it didn't matter kind of where you were on the political spectrum. You still have to recognize that this is a
Mhm.
big day for our country.
Yeah.
We have an orderly transfer of power every 4 to 8 years, depending on if a president is reelected.
Mhm.
It happened this year like it normally does. There were protests I think Sunday, which I don't think there were very many protests, not like there were Trump's first go around
8 years ago, yeah.
8 years ago. There's still people saying silly things, which we'll get to that in a minute.
Yes.
But, overall, when you have that kind of transfer of power, to me, it's an amazing thing because there's places around the world that still settle that with guns and bullets and coups and all this crazy stuff. And so for us to be, and I look at it as a heightened left versus right, Republican versus Democrat, conservative versus liberal, however you want to paint it.
Mhm.
We're probably more divided than we ever are, but we still have this orderly transfer of power. And I thought that was great and wonderful. So
It was kind of funny, kind of sad. Like, Trump's on stage getting sworn in, and there's just two chicks right behind the justice that he walloped.
I noticed that too.
That's a little painful.
I don't know who put the seating chart together, but
Yeah.
I don't know that I would have put the seating chart directly that way. I
Yeah.
might have at least tried to get Hillary out of the camera pan. Just one more seat over would have
Yeah.
done that. But then Bill might have been in the shot,
Yeah.
and they wouldn't have wanted. So you kind of like,
Bill's
well,
only half there.
and I
Come
did-
on. You don't think Bill thought it was hilarious that Trump beat Hillary? You don't think he thought that was hilarious?
Well, I'm sure there were arguments in the house over who was better at things,
uh-huh.
and he's like 2-0, 0-2. Now I don't know how many times he got beat up over that.
Mhm.
But he said it at least once in his married life. He said it. He's a guy. He said it once. But
I don't know. I don't know. Do they talk?
I
Do you
don't-
think they talk?
yeah,
They're around each other a lot, but you never see them like whispering to each other.
no.
Never.
Look, I'll give you that. But I'll say this. I think Melania and Donald Trump have a pretty good relationship. But they kind of have. I think she's one of those old school women. Like, you're not kissing me in public. You're not doing.
Mhm.
I think she's very.
What did you think about the hat?
I kind of like the hat.
I think it was a power move because she turned down Joe Biden's invitation
Yes.
for tea.
Uh-huh.
So it's pretty obvious she's not the biggest fan of Joe Biden,
Yes.
at least from that action. And so by having the hat, when they're walking up the stairs and, greeting each other in
She
that
have to
little
look at her?
ceremony, she doesn't have to look at her. And nobody gets her facial reactions. So we have all these already. There are all these little clips and all these little still frames
Yeah.
of people's dissatisfied facial expressions.
Mhm.
Melania, anytime she was about to make a face, she could just tilt her hat down and her face is covered.
I thought the hat was fine. I think she's a very beautiful woman. Davey says she did not look like the Hamburglar. If you had put that hat on Hillary, she would have looked like the Hamburglar. I'm sorry, there's a shape with the Hamburglar, and Melania doesn't have the shape.
I didn't notice.
I'm just saying.
I did think it's funny that when Melania kissed Trump after the swearing in,
Mhm.
he turns around like, that's right, supermodel, and
Yes,
kisses her
yes.
again.
Yes. Oh yeah. Looks at Bill
Oh,
Clinton,
man.
points to him, and then goes back and kisses. So yeah, that's just rubbing that in. There was a scene though when they were starting to do all the talking stuff. I was at a restaurant having lunch. They had it up on TV, and Joe Biden had sat down.
Mhm.
And he usually closes his eyes when he sits down. You don't know whether he's just thinking or whether he's sleeping.
Pondering.
At his age, it could be sleeping.
Yeah.
And so I looked at the people around me. I said, "Is he already asleep? They just started talking like 3 minutes ago." And then he opened his eyes up and he yawned.
Do you know when he
and-
was very obviously awake?
When?
When JD Vance's kids were up there.
Yes.
He grabbed a hold of those kids and
Did-
starts
did-
talking to them. And then they're trying to speak back to him. And he's like, what? What?
Well,
And I
I,
was just in there. So we watched it in class. I was
Okay.
in class today. And we watched just to the invocation, the opening prayers through the swearing in
Yeah.
during our debate strand. And so I was sitting there in the corner away from the kids, and Joe Biden grabs one of Vance's kids, and I'm just like, of course he grabs a kid. And then I realized there are kids around me and they didn't hear me. And I was like, oh, I gotta be careful.
got-
I'm not on the podcast yet.
I missed that. And I
Yeah.
was watching that scene.
He was very awake and animated at that point.
And I've got to tell you, as a parent of 4, you're a parent of 3.
Mhm.
If you told me when they were that young, we are going to put you on national and international TV and your
Mhm.
children have to behave, I would have been like, this is not going to go over well.
Mhm.
This is just not going to. And it went off without a hitch. And I thought, hats off to the Vances
Mhm.
for just bringing their kids with them, their young kids. I mean, you expect the Trump kids to behave.
Yeah.
I mean, they're old enough and they're,
Mhm.
but all of a sudden, 3 little kids up there, and
Mhm.
you're like, oh my gosh, anything could happen.
Yeah.
At any second now, one of them can grab Donald Trump's hair, and then we're
Mhm.
going to find out. Right? I mean, you just.
Jimmy Fallon already pulled on his hair. We already know.
I know. I'm just.
It
Yes.
was funny though. Someone juxtaposed the picture 8 years ago of Trump's first inauguration
Yeah.
to the one now, and Barron was maybe chest high on Trump
Yep.
on the first picture, and now he's heads and shoulders above everybody else. That's pretty funny.
right, Barbara Jean asked me to bring something up.
Yeah.
So I brought stories.
Mhm.
I'm trying to find the one from. This is the one from CNN.
Mhm.
So where it broke today, and I'm gonna read a couple of lines out of this. So when I read this, you just tell me guilty or innocent, right?
Okay.
Just right. So Biden
Court
on
of
Monday
Amanda.
issued an extraordinary state of preemptive pardons for prominent critics of
Overturned
President-elect Donald
at
Trump
the Supreme Court. That's what I want.
and members of his own family, using executive prerogative as a shield against revenge by his incoming successor, who also guaranteeing his closest relatives aren't subject to future prosecutions. The
Weird.
pardons coming in the final hours of Biden's presidency amount to a stunning flex of presidential power that is unprecedented in recent presidential history. They serve to protect several outspoken critics of the president, including former Republican Rep Liz Cheney, right? They also protect Biden's close family. And it says, my family has been subjected to unrelenting attacks and threats. Is this Biden or Trump that's saying this?
Mhm.
Out of curiosity. Motivated solely by the desire to hurt me. Again, was it Trump wasn't Trump the one that was in court all year? last year?
I think so.
The worst
Maybe
kind
2
of
years?
partisan politics. Unfortunately, I have no reason to believe that these attacks will end, Biden said in a statement released in inauguration ceremony. Biden's extraordinary decision to announce pardons for multiple members of his family in the final minutes as president was fueled in part by Trump's public vow to support. There is multiple places in here where the article says, even when individuals have done nothing wrong and will ultimately be exonerated, the mere fact of being investigated or prosecuted can irreparably damage their reputations and finances.
It's almost as if they are admitting what they did.
Yeah. In good conscience, I could not stand aside with the threat of reprisals of the incoming president against its adversary. These are exceptional circumstances, and I cannot in good conscience do nothing. But again, none of this proves that they're guilty, right? None of this proves that anybody that I pardoned was guilty of anything.
Except Joe Biden's own words. Would you like me to explain?
Go ahead.
All right. So Joe Biden was asked if he would pardon himself before the end of his term.
Yes.
And his reply was, pardon myself? Why? I haven't done anything wrong. I haven't broken the law. I don't need a pardon. I'm only pardoning people that have broken the law. So Hunter Biden has broken the law. Fauci's broken the law. Everyone he's pardoned has broken the law.
According to Joe Biden.
According to his own logic, he only would pardon people that broke the law.
I personally think it's, I'll be curious to see if it is challenged.
I hope that it is.
I don't know that a preemptive pardon, to me, you've been better off having the DOJ go after everybody, saying, I'm guilty, and then saying, I pardon you, right? That would have been, but I think they took extraordinary measures against Trump, and they're afraid that those measures will be used against them. And in an effort to stop that from happening, they preemptively pardoned people who they know did things that shouldn't have done. One person did not get a pardon today.
Joe Biden.
Well, he's one. There's another one. Alexander Vindman. Vindman is he was the military member who testified against Trump and the phone call in the infamous first impeachment. His wife is furious. The comments online were just amazing on both sides, right? On both sides.
Yeah.
But it was like, this is just everywhere from you sold your soul to the devil and this is what happens to, oh, don't worry, we got you. You'll be fine, right?
Sure.
I mean, all of this stuff. So I look at this and you got to feel he put his entire career on the line for that impeachment. It didn't go the way he was told. He's tried to make a career out of being an anti-Trump guy. And then everybody else gets a pardon but him. You gotta go.
I mean, you should maybe dance with the one that brought you and not dump him at the party and then go to the other side.
I don't think that Donald Trump was going to put any of the Biden family in jail. I don't think Donald Trump was going to go after. I think Donald Trump would have gone after the J6 committee.
I don't even think
for what they destroyed.
Yeah.
What they destroyed. Not the process was completely staged, completely fabricated, and it's unfortunate because if you're going to do an investigation into something that I think was a terrible event,
Mhm.
you ought to actually do an investigation, have people from both sides asking you
Yeah.
tough questions, and you ought to look into everything and everybody
Mhm.
and not shield one side and go after the other side. That's
Including
just pure partisan politics.
including going after Nancy Pelosi, who was caught on camera admitting that it was her fault because she was asked if she wanted to increase security and she didn't. And she said, this happened because of me.
Mhm.
Like, she admitted that
Yep.
on camera. She forgot she was being recorded. Yeah, maybe she should have been up there testifying. So Barbara Jean brings up the fact that it happened in the last 15 minutes.
Mhm.
What are your thoughts on all of these presidential pardons happening like this?
I don't think I think it just cements Joe Biden's legacy
Mhm.
as and once look, the truth's going to come out.
Yeah.
It's going to come out in books. It's going to come out now that he's no longer president and he no longer has the power of the CIA and the FBI behind him.
Mhm.
In about 4, 5, 6 months, people are going to start telling the stories about the Biden family.
Mhm.
And then all these media people are going to go, oh my God, we never knew. No,
Mhm.
you were told, you didn't pay attention.
Yeah.
Right. You were told about his cognitive inabilities and you didn't pay attention. You were told that there could be connections to all these other things.
Mhm.
When that stuff comes out, it will absolutely sink what is left of any part of his reputation. And I think the other person that's going to take it really hard is Joe Biden. I think Joe Biden's going to catch a lot of blame for this. And I do not think it helps Democrats at all because Democrats circle the wagons around him to get him elected. They circle the wagons around him in 2022. They circle the wagons around him up until the time that Nancy Pelosi said, we've had enough.
She pulled the ripcord.
Yes. And whenever Nancy's daughter refers to Jill Biden in an article as Lady McBiden, that speaks volumes about the relationship between Pelosi and Biden. It speaks volumes. So
I
there's
feel like the last 2 years have really fractured a lot of the like power relationships between high-powered Democrats.
yes, 100%. And a lot of it is they're so old they didn't cultivate young talent.
Yeah.
They didn't cultivate and let young people move up in the ranks because they all didn't want to lose the power that they finally had.
Mhm.
And so they're struggling because of that. Republicans dealt with that around the time Obama got into office.
Mhm.
And you had the Tea Party and you had all these conservative Republicans that were throwing out older Republicans. Democrats haven't gone through that yet.
Mhm.
They still have to get rid of their geriatric leaders,
Mhm.
and they haven't. And when they do, the people that they replace them with, some of them aren't going to be as capable. We ran into that. We had
Yeah.
several people that got in. You're like, oh my God, how do we elect that person?
Mhm.
We got to get rid of them.
Yeah.
Right. And you know, I look right. The biggest example for me right now is Mitch McConnell. Mitch McConnell should not be in the Senate.
Can he retire,
He
please?
should not be in the Senate.
No.
I at one point in time, was he a crafty senator?
Crafty is a
did-
good word.
Did he do some things that helped Republicans? Yes. Did he do some things that hurt Republicans? Yes.
Mm.
Where is he now? I don't think mentally he should be there. I think somebody else should be there,
Yeah.
filling his role, that's younger, that's got a little more energy, that's got a little more on it. It's time to go home. You don't
Well-
get to be senator for life.
Part of that is, come on, Kentucky, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing? Why? Why do you just keep electing this dude? Like, can't y'all collectively say, hey, we think he needs to go rest and have a margarita on a beach? Like, get out of office. Like, why are we doing this?
Are we going to put the margarita in a sippy cup?
I don't care.
I just wanted to be able to drink it.
I just want him to be happy and comfortable and away from DC and the
Yeah.
reins of power. That's where I want him to be.
Yeah.
I've heard it floated the idea that presidential pardons should be disclosed before the election so people can decide if that's what they want.
I don't know about that. I think it's one of those things that happens at the end of a term. I think the pardons, the murders should never have been. Those were horrible. There were several cop killers
Mhm.
that were pardoned.
Mhm.
I just think that there's some things that Biden. I don't know who approved the pardons. I have no idea. I know Biden probably signed them.
Yeah.
But whether he thought they were Christmas cards or what, I don't know. But I don't know that he was the one vetting them.
Mhm.
And those are the stories I think that are going to come out. And I think they're going to dribble out over the next 6 months to a year. And again, I don't know who writes the first tell-all book.
Yeah.
But if Kamala Harris wants a chance to resurrect her career, she has to put out how bad it was in the Biden White House and how she saved it. And she's just got to crush Jill. And she's got to make Jill the villain in this because that's why everything was a mess. And if she doesn't do that, she's not going to resurrect her career. So, Jill, the long knives are out.
I heard people speculating that Harris was going to take over the governorship of California. She was sort of being ordained to be the next governor of California. Do you think that is a position that she looks good for at this point, especially as the fires are still burning?
I think the Democratic brand is in trouble in California for the first time in 30 years, 30 years. I think that people are going, not everybody, because there's some people that don't blame Newsom or Bass for the problems that they've had. And that's just insane. That's just a definition of insanity.
Bill Burr, we're looking at you.
You're going to do the same thing again and again and again. And the next time it's just going to be worse.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think you're going to have some sensible people that say, hey, I got to vote some Republicans in here, if for no other reason than to get another voice into government, and maybe we can have a discussion. One party rule is horrible.
Yeah.
One party rule is not a good thing. Like, we've had one party rule in Florida for 10, 15 years. There's been some good things that have come out of that. There's some bad things that have come out of that. Anytime it all rests in one party and the other side really doesn't have a lot to say,
yeah,
you can go down a road and a path that all of a sudden you find yourself quickly on the outs as that party. I think the fires could be that catalyst. If they're not that catalyst to change California, they're going to be the catalyst to just doom California.
Yeah.
Because everybody that's got a brain is going to move out, and everybody that doesn't have a brain is going to stay. And it's a shame.
Well, that's kind of already happened. That's been the exodus over the past 5 years.
Yeah.
And so who knows? Who knows what's going to happen? I kind of feel like one party rule, it's that sort of situation is less likely. It's still likely. Small kind. Less likely on the Republican side than the Democratic side, because Republicans don't even like each other. Republicans fight all the time.
No one circles the wagons better than the Buffalo Bills and the Democrats.
Yeah.
Republicans can mess things up. I mean, right now, to only have a 2-seat majority in the House. Do you know how many Republicans are out there going, I'm going to be the guy that blows this up?
I can't get excited for change to happen legislatively in D.C. because we don't have a large enough margin. And there's at least 6 Republicans that will set out a rake and then step on it just so they can be the one that gets on MSNBC and CNN and makes the headline and gets invited to the cocktail party. I'm nervous. I don't want it to all be executive orders. I want positive change to take place legislatively. I don't want to continue this route of one man with a pen gets to change the country for us. We need to get back on track of the country being run the way it's supposed to be run.
All right. We've been on the air an hour.
Yes.
Great interview with the tech kids.
Yep.
I'm trying to get my phone to pull up Fox News and see how many executive orders have been signed. Do you want to take a bet? Are we over 50?
He was promising 100.
He was promising 200.
Okay. Have you found it yet?
I'm trying to see.
I can find it. I think I'll just stick with my answer, 69. We've got 69 at this point.
I don't see a number. I'm going to go to another news source that I have and see if they've got a number up yet. But I was curious about how many.
His hand's going to be tired by the end of the day.
He'll get over it. He'll be fine.
Hold on. What are executive orders and how is Trump using them? No, thanks, AP. Who do you think this is? Today.
Yeah, everything's okay.
I'm not seeing a tally right now. During his first term, Trump signed 220. Biden signed 160 as of December 20th. We all know that changed since then. He's forecasted signing as many as 100 executive orders on his first day, according to this article. Yeah, I don't have
the number.
Current
If
number.
we could find out a number tomorrow, we'll see. I had 50.
Yeah.
Amanda had 69. We'll see if it's
Yes.
closer to that.
by 6 p.m. today.
Uh,
Yeah, I don't have a number.
so Liz Cheney is now popping off at Donald Trump because she has a pardon. Didn't say a word. Didn't say a word for months, and now has
Yeah.
a pardon and will pop. Liz Cheney.
Did you ever
is,
watch Kindergarten Cop?
I remember it a long time ago. I didn't fast forward through it.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't.
Well, there's this super mean mom character
Mhm.
in that movie, and she sees a police officer and hits her with her car.
Yeah.
And then she goes in to try and defend her criminal son as he's wreaking havoc in an elementary school. So this mom is a nightmare. She's kind of a cartel boss behind her idiot
Mhm.
criminal son. And so he looks like he's going to get the upper hand on Arnold and his female partner that got ran over. Sneaks back in and takes out the mom right before the mom can shoot Arnold.
Mhm.
And she just looks at her and says, "You're not so tough without your car, huh?"
I do remember the
Yeah, it's good.
short red-haired partner
Yeah.
that got laid up that was supposed to be in the
Yeah,
kindergarten.
she was supposed to be the teacher.
Yes.
And not Arnold. Yeah.
See, I paid attention
Yeah,
back in
so-
those days.
You know.
Now, so Liz
Not
Cheney's
so tough without your
guaranteed
car,
a
are you,
platform.
Liz Cheney.
She's guaranteed to be a platform to be irrelevant.
Yeah.
The Democrats don't want her. No Republican wants her. She had an opportunity to maybe rise to some sort of political prominence, but she chose the swamp
Yeah.
over. Right. So it will be interesting to watch her become more and more irrelevant over the next 4 years. She's not coming back. There's no way you're ever going to get a majority
Except for-
of either party to vote for her.
On network news that will have her so that they can have a Republican weigh in.
Hell for me, for Liz Cheney, would be doing a nightly program with either Keith Olbermann, Don Lemon, or Jim Acosta.
Yeah.
Any of those. Liz, go for it. Enjoy. I'll just be laughing
It'll
the
give us
entire
a
time.
ton of
You'll
coke.
have to go to work with them every day, and we don't have to. And we don't have to watch.
And what they've said about her dad over the years.
Yeah.
Like, why is she trying to court all of these people that have talked such trash about her family?
If you had said that kind of stuff about my family, and then someone, and even if I disliked the guy you dislike, I am not getting in bed with you politically.
Yeah.
No way, no how. They wanted her dad jailed.
Yeah.
They wanted him tried as a war criminal, and you cozied up to them.
Yeah.
And you say Donald Trump has no ethics in them. Seriously. Seriously.
Good gracious.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Tomorrow, day one, we're going to find out what it's like. We got Davey coming in tomorrow. We're going to get all kinds of
Yeah.
great news tomorrow.
We've got an interview tomorrow, too.
Who's our interview tomorrow?
You know. I can't remember. We have an interview, though.
We do have an interview.
Can't remember the name.
Hang on.
Davey will say it. I have to scroll through text messages to
Tomorrow
find
is
it.
Epic is coming in tomorrow.
Epic's coming in.
Epic's
That's
coming
gonna be
in
a
tomorrow.
very good
It's going to be an
interview.
epic show because Davey's here to be epic with us. All right, you guys have a great night. We'll see you tomorrow.
Bye.